Good morning. Welcome back to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. All right, I'm going to jump right back in. There's a lot I want to cover with you this morning, so be prepared. We want to give you a lot of good information today that you can hopefully take advantage of and use to help you in your retirement. All right, number 7, not knowing how much to withdraw. This is one of those areas we get into when I'm doing planning for new clients coming in, and of course for my existing clients when we're doing reviews. One of the areas we're always looking at is that withdrawal rate. We want to be very, very careful with that. You may have heard of something called the 4% rule. This was developed by I think it was a financial planner, in fact, back in the mid-90s. And this was reported in the Journal of Financial Planning. This 4% rule was supposedly a safe rate that you could withdraw from your retirement accounts, 4% a year, without having to worry about running out of money. However, there's some misunderstandings about how the 4% rule works, and then there are a lot of other factors as to whether that's a safe rate or not a safe rate, and whether or not you could even take more from an account depending on a number of factors. So an example would be what are your investment returns or your expected investment returns, the length of your retirement, how many years are you going to be drawing down from that retirement account, inflation rates, how inflation is going to affect the amount that you're taking. Sequence of returns. I've talked about that a number of times on the show. Tony Robbins in his book gets into a really great example of it. And in 7 Steps to Financial Freedom, my book, I also talk about how that sequence of return can potentially set you up to run out of money, all right, depending on what the market's doing and the amount that you're taking out at that time. And of course, that also ties into your strategies as far as how your investment plan is set up and the volatility, how much you're controlling that and minimizing it, as well as other strategies that can be employed to give you income, that's a stable income stream, no matter what's going on in the market. That can help you. In fact, this is one of the many strategies we use to overcome that sequence of returns risk. Legacy planning, of course, is another factor. If that's a part of your planning, then that can affect how much of a withdrawal rate. So this is one, not knowing that number for you, or not knowing how to structure an income plan in retirement, a safe withdrawal plan, can set you up to run out of money in retirement. These are things we want to not have to worry about, right? We want to be able to attain and maintain our standard of living, quality of life, no matter how long we live. We want to be able to thrive in retirement, not just survive. We want to make the most of those retirement years, right? We want to have fun. All right. Failing to take your required minimum distributions, taking money too early from a retirement account, or not taking it when it's required at age 70 and a half. These, of course, set you up for some pretty hefty tax penalties. That's to be avoided. Dismissing annuities. This is another area. This is from Forbes, by the way, this particular article. And this is one of those areas when it comes to annuities, there are like 1,000 different annuity products out there. As I've talked about many times on the show, variable annuities are to be avoided. Heavy fees, heavy costs, this can reduce basically a variable annuity, you're investing in the stock market. All right, their sub-accounts are basically just like mutual funds, the way they're invested and the risks that go along with that, but they have higher fees. Sometimes when I call different companies, when new clients come in and they've got variable annuities that they had, I'll call with them. I'll sit and do a conference call the insurance companies, and basically go through with them so they can see and hear for the first time basically what all their costs are. And I'll say almost 100% of the time, people are astounded to find that they're paying, sometimes 3 to 5% in fees. Almost always it's in that at least 3 to 4% per year in fees. And if you think about that, say to a regular retirement account where you may be paying, let's say you're paying 4% as an average, all right, which is quite common with a variable annuity, and you may be able to invest in the market depending on the advisory firm you're working with or the broker dealer or whoever it is. Your costs are probably going to be closer to 1.5 to 2%, well, probably closer to 2%, but about half what they would be in that variable annuity. That's money you get to keep in your pocket. All right, now the next thing, there are a lot of other factors when it comes to investing as far as your asset allocation models and a bunch of things. But this one part, if you've got two equal, the way you're invested is about the same, then the next piece is cost is one of the important parts. Now, of course, on our fees are, if you get into with a good fiduciary, registered investment advisor, utilizing modern portfolio theory and indexing, and you can cut that cost down even further. A lot of times you can get down below 1.5, maybe even right around 1% a year, depending on the amount of money you've got invested, of course, as well. It could be even lower. All right, overspending in early years of retirement. Now, everybody, when you retire, I got to tell you, this is one of those areas I run into all the time. People, when they first retire, right, we all want to do the same thing. This is a chance now. We've got time. Hopefully, our health is still good. We've got the resources, hopefully, because we've been good savers and we've prepared for retirement. Now we want to go out and kind of maybe start checking off the bucket list, right? Hitting those things that we want to do, or we have more leisure time. Every day is a weekend. Every day is Saturday. We get to go out and play. All right, so yes, you're going to spend more money typically, but in an overall scheme on your planning, it's just making sure that you're not overspending. I think one of my favorite stories was about John Travolta. Was he talked? He loves planes. He loves flying. And I saw an interview with him. He had just bought this jumbo jet. I mean, right? It's hard to imagine. He's got, and it's just one of many planes he owns. And he said he had always wanted a jumbo jet. He loved flying. And this was this was really exciting for him to be able to do this. And here was the key. He said, and it's in the budget. I'm not overspending. It's in my budget that I can do this. Now, most of us aren't going out buying jumbo jets, but when it comes to our finances, again, it's in the budget. It's in the plan. So when I'm working with clients and we set up that income plan in retirement and we're taking all these factors in, like tax efficiency, how to get the most out of our investments safely, setting up a stable income that we can count on no matter what goes on in the market. Getting that foundation down allows us then to do that spending that we want to do, and that we have a dollar amount. We can see what it is. I can spend this much safely without having to worry. That's part of a good plan. All right, neglecting the plan for long-term care. This is another area. Utilizing home equity, by the way, or factoring in one of the assets that you have, your home. I just met with a client yesterday as an example, and he has a home. He's got 2 lots and a home that he enjoys, but his resources, he's got a lot of equity there, which is one of his main resources for retirement, and it's how to tap into that in the wisest and smartest of ways. And so this might be to sell off a lot. He's got 2 lots in this situation, to sell off a lot and use that for capital in retirement to provide additional income. Maybe he builds a rental property on that second lot and uses that as a way to bring in income. It's a possibility of just selling altogether, selling everything, downsizing, and using the equity again to help fund retirement. So there are a lot of different factors. It just depends on your individual situation and what your goals are and what you want to do. But understanding that is an asset, how to best utilize it is a key. Not having estate planning documents. In chapter 7 of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement, that gets into estate planning. That's one of the big ones for you when it comes to planning for retirement, is getting that piece done, whether it's wills or trusts, and understanding the different kinds of trusts, powers of attorney, of course. There are a lot of different, we talk about the 5 essential documents. In fact, I'll have Russ coming on again, coming up in the next week or two, and we're going to be talking about the foundation, the 5 essential documents that form the foundation of a good estate plan. And we're going to get into some advanced estate planning with him as well, other trusts that you can utilize, other strategies you can use to get the most out of your resources and to make sure that your family's well taken care of. Underestimating how long you live. This is one of those areas that I see quite often as well. We're living longer, which means more years in retirement, and planning for that, being sure that you've got sufficient resources and that you're making the most of those resources so that you're not going to have to worry about running out of money in retirement. So living longer is one of those areas. And the same gentleman I mentioned that I met with regarding his house, his dad is still alive, actually, at 90, I think he said 94. And his grandparents lived to be in their mid, I think 96, 97 years old. So you got that kind of longevity already going. And in this day and age when people are living even longer anyway, all the more reason that the planning that you need to do needs to take that in consideration. All right. And we talked about in the last week about tax, basically how to make the most in terms of your retirement capital. We're going to get back into that, taxes being just one of those areas, but there's some more. So what I'm going to get, first slide is, well, actually, before I do that, if you would like to get a personalized plan, if you would like to get a comprehensive financial plan with that retirement income piece as a part of that, of course, the retirement piece is what I specialize in. How to, in fact, prepare for retirement, how to get the most out of your retirement years, how to get the most out of your money throughout your lifetime, then give my office a call. The number is 615-376-5325. We'll do up a this free retirement income analysis. That means we'll look at your investments. We'll do an investment analysis for you. We'll look at Social Security choices, whether you're already taking Social Security or it's something you're trying to figure out what to do about Social Security decisions. We'll talk to you about that. How to minimize taxes on that Social Security income, on your retirement accounts, how to get the most out of those, how to make sure that you never have to worry about running out of money. We'll do an analysis of your accounts, and we'll talk to you about safe money strategies to help you with that, how the smart money invests in the stock market, how to get the most, in other words, as far as market return with the least amount of risk and volatility. That's all of this is part of, we'll do that portfolio analysis as well. All of it's part of the planning. So again, first 10 callers to my office, 615-376-5325. Tessa's standing by. She'll get your information. She'll send you out a checklist of things to bring to your appointment with me. And when you come in to see me, I'll give you a free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement. We talk about, in that book, I get into all these things. The first 2 chapters are about the planning part that we're going to be doing for you. Third chapter is IRA mastery, how to get the most as far as your minimizing taxes and getting the most return on your IRAs, as well as when you're taking that money out, how to minimize taxes. Chapter 4, we get into safe money alternatives, how that's always a good idea to have some safe money things in with your market portfolio. Chapter 5 is speaking of market, how the smart money invests. And we get into modern portfolio theory and talk to you about indexing strategies and other ways that you can more safely invest in the stock market. Chapter number 6 is on long-term care, and we get into different strategies there. It's not just it's not all about long-term care insurance. There are a lot of ways you can cover that risk. And of course, chapter 7 on estate planning. All right, so all of that's for you. Again, first 10 callers, 615-376-5325. Okay, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll jump in and talk about qualified money versus non-qualified money, understanding the different accounts you have and how to utilize them to your best advantage. But first, a quick break. Join me here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.